Hey everyone, it is me, MaryCathryn. Like I said today, I'm going to be talking about relationships, and when I say relationships, I mean specifically guy-girl relationships, romantic relationships. So, I'm only going to be talking for 15 minutes, and so I might actually do a couple of different videos surrounding this. You guys actually, I'm gonna read. I am gonna read out of Song of Solomon just to get us started. Before I actually do get us started, I'm going to pray like always. So here we go. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you that you are here with us. I thank you that you're guiding us and that you just continue to show us your way, Lord Jesus. And Lord, I pray that you begin to speak through me, as I begin to speak to my friends, Lord God, wherever they are. And I pray that this would bless someone no matter where they are, no matter who they are, and that it'll touch hearts around the world. And Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so I'm going to go to Song of Solomon. And, sorry. Okay. You guys, do you know, sometimes when you guys ever find stuff in your Bible, I'm one of those people who sometimes I get stuff from church and I just stick it in there. Then I'm like, hey, what is this used for? I'm probably going to put everything right back in there because I use some of this stuff as a, it's been a long day, guys. I use some of these papers and stuff for bookmarks because they only have one little bookmark thingy. But the assay is right. So why do I keep doing that? Sorry. I'm trying to. They hid it. I'm kidding. Didn't hide it. I'm just trying to find it. It's right. I went too far. Okay. So I'm gonna read actually verse. You guys, what's kind of funny is not really funny, but so King Solomon. Many of you know about him. He is David's, I believe he might be King David's youngest son. David had lots of sons. He had a couple of them. But the one that's I guess, and they're there's no greater kingdom than the one that was with King Solomon, to which that is actually very, very true. And the reason why I say that that's true is because, the reason why I say that is because it was actually in a movie that I saw too. But even though it was in a movie that I saw, it's still very true because Solomon's kingdom was blessed because of his father, King David. So anyway, all right. So I'm only gonna read chapter 4, you guys. So let me see if I'm gonna read the whole chapter. I'm gonna try to. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna read all the way. It's only 16 verses, so this is actually in mine it's called Song of Solomon. Some of them, Song of Songs. Sometimes it's called Song of Solomon, but my version, or should I say my translation, called it Song of Songs. So it's the same difference. He still wrote it. So, how beautiful are you, my darling? How beautiful are you? Your eyes are like doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats that have descended from Mount Gilead. Guys, that's very sweet. His poetry, he's talking to. So what the title is, it says Solomon's Love Expressed. And have you ever just been so into someone? I don't even know if I could be offended. I probably would be man, this guy is like so into me, and he's just, he's just saying the craziest things. But he's pouring out his heart, and I probably would like it because it'll be enduring. Because there's a time, come on, if like the person that you're interested in, whether it's like a woman or a man, and sometimes it's different when women are saying it to men, but if I'm dating, so I'm gonna use myself as an example. But if I let's say not dating, I don't like the traditional term dating. I like courtship. But anyway, if I am involved, let's say that, involved romantically with someone, and we have established that we want to go on this romantic journey together after the 3-month period and all that stuff. So if we've decided that we want to do that, then I think like if he's like, reading me poetry and just being all super like, what happens, things happen like that, so whatever. And then he tells me that my hair reminds him of a flock of goats. I might actually be kind of offended. I'm like, dude. I'm like, are you trying to be like King Solomon? And he's like, no, that's how he really feels. I might be kind of offended. So I'm like, do I need to go get my hair done? But I'm sorry, that part's funny. I'm sorry, I just what was happening in my mind. I didn't remember reading that before. I've read this before, but I don't remember that. And I'm like, geez, is that even a compliment or is that an insult? Like, dang. But okay, guys, here I go. All right. Jesus, forgive me. What a mess. Okay. Alright, you guys, and the reason why I'm laughing so hard, you guys, because I think I missed that part. Okay, so he starts off like very calm and very sweet. And it says, I'm going to read it again. It says, how beautiful you are, my darling. How beautiful you are. He's like, your eyes are like doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats that have descended from Mount Gilead. So it's kind of confusing because I'm like, does she have like wild hair? So anyway, guys, I'm sorry because that really tickled me. But I'm trying to like visualize it, and when I visualize it, I visualize this wild haired woman. Have you ever seen goat's hair? Like I don't know. Anyway, I think he was just using like metaphors. I like metaphors, but I like to be compared to flowers and stuff like, I don't know. I guess it depends on the guy that you're dating, but anyway, apparently King Solomon, he still had it in spades because he still had about 1,000 wives, including the concubines. So yeah. So, verse 2. Your teeth are like a flock of newly shorn ewes, which have come up from their washing, all of which bear twins, and not one among them has lost her young. Your lips are like a scarlet thread, and your mouth is lovely. Your temples are like a slice of a pomegranate. Oh, that's sweet. Behind your veil. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built with rows of stones, on which are hung 1,000 shields, all the round shields of the mighty men. Verse 5. Your 2 breasts are like 2 fawns, twins of a gazelle, which feed among the lilies. Verse 6. Until the cool of the day, when the shadows flee away, I will go my way to the mountain of myrrh and to the hill of frankincense. Verse 7. You are altogether beautiful, my darling, and there is no blemish in you. Verse 8. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride. May you come with me from Lebanon. Journey down from the summit of Ammana, from the summit of Senir, and Hermon, from the dens of lions, from the mountains of leopards. Verse 9, you have made my heart beat faster, my sister, my bride. You have made my heart beat faster with a single glance of your eyes, with a single strand of your necklace. How beautiful is your love, my sister, my bride. Oh. How much better is your love than wine, and your fragrance of your oils than all kinds of spices. Wow, that's actually a pretty big compliment, you guys, because if you're like me, I like spices. I like spices of any kind. I like spices like foreign spices, like, you know, that are here and then there and everywhere, because there's so many people here and they have so many different backgrounds and cultures that they cook with. And even in my city, there's different kinds of people that they cook with different things, and you can smell in the air sometimes. And then I just love the way spices smell. I might not eat all of it, and I'm, you know, like willing to try it. It depends on where it's from, but I just love the smell of it most of the time, especially cinnamon and turmeric. Those are my favorite. All right. So, verse 11, your lips, my bride, drip honey. Honey and milk are under your tongue. And the fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. Verse 12, a garden locked is my sister, my bride. A rock garden locked, a spring sealed up. Your shoots are an orchard. Of pomegranates with choice fruits, henna with nard plants. I don't know what nard plants are. Verse 14. Nard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all the trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, along with all the finest spices. You are a garden spring as well. Oh, you are a garden spring, a well of fresh water, and streams flowing from Lebanon. Awake, O north winds, and come, wind of the south. Make my garden breathe out fragrance. Let its spices be wafted abroad. May my beloved come into his garden and eat its choice fruits. Oh. So you guys, like when it's talking about the beloved, that was her speaking. So I'm looking at it, even though it says Solomon expressed his, usually when the women are talking about the beloved, they're talking about him. They're talking to him. And when he says, my sister, my bride, he's talking to her. So I think that's very sweet. I'm actually going to mark that for later. So, okay, so the whole reason, you guys, and I did kind of give a little sneak peek when I said the 3-month thing. So, again, for those of you who do not know, or this is your first time, sorry, I'm just going to straighten this out. I'm going to use my little thingy here. It's better. Okay. So, alright, so, you guys, I am trying to fix it. Okay. I should have did this before. Okie dokie. Alright, so, for those of you who do not know, my name is MaryCathryn Taylor. I am not a relationship coach yet, but I'm working on that, getting like officially certified, even though I know that you do not have to be certified. But you guys, that is kind of like my niche, and kind of like, you know, what I've been interested in doing, and how I really want to help people out. And so, but actually, before I actually do that, I'm using myself as a test dummy to see how my little formula works. So I'm not going to give you like a little secret. I'm not going to give it away quite yet. I did come up with a formula. I tried this about a few years ago, in all, transparency, it did not work out, but I also have tweaked it. And I have actually been more authentic and been more, I guess, I can say authentic, but more truthful with myself. And when I say that I'm truthful with myself, in the past I was kind of like, more like, oh, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, and, maybe I should throw a dog a bone. No, that's not where I'm at. So I'm definitely not on that, oh, well, I'm going to take a step up. No, I'm like going like, oh, I'm going all the way up, stretching up to where I want to go. And yeah, so I'm like, no more like playing small. No more settling. That's I'm like, I don't, too many people sacrifice. I'm like, no, I'm not sacrificing that. And I know that like most of the time when God's like, when you know that you're God's best, then you know that He has already set aside His best for you. And a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't take hard work. They just, and I used to believe that because I have a lot of people, there's a lot of acquaintances that I know who believe and who are very, I guess, I would say a lot more spiritually stronger than me. And I was maybe spiritually grounded, I like to say, I would say that. And they have different, how do I say this, point of view on that than I do. And doesn't mean that we are enemies, but we just are different. We have different views on that. And so, I actually agree, and I listen to them, but I've actually was like and I use the Word of God, and I use stuff like Song of Solomon, and I look at the relationships though that can, how God put people together, and I look at how, the men and the women in the Bible, like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and their wives, how they literally paralleled. And my favorite one is the one where Isaac and Rebekah, because Abraham sends out his servant, and his servant prays a prayer on behalf of his master, not on behalf of him. And he asked God for favor, and he asked God for a sign. And I've read that. I've read it. I've heard it in church before, but I never actually fully applied that to myself. And so I did. I applied it, and I didn't quite go through, finish it because I kind of wrote it out. But I actually prayed some prayers, and I was like, Lord, I was like, if I didn't have anyone in mind, and that's the thing about it, and that's what I noticed too. You can't have any one specific person in mind. And I know, and I'm just like kind of like freaking out because I was like last year, it was like I would say I had a couple of, I like to say, close encounter of the mankind. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so neat. But again, a lot of close encounters. And I guess I'm kind of maybe a little bit strange because a lot of probably a lot of women my age are out there dating. I'm in my 30s, but yeah, so they're probably out there. Like actively dating, having our normal active dating life. It's not that I don't have the time, it's just that I have decided to, go a different route, do it a different way. So, anyway, so right now, currently, I don't really have anyone in mind per se, I guess. The thing it takes, like, you have to actually meet someone. I feel like my thing is this, like, if someone is interested in you, they don't drop the ball, you know what I mean? Like, they don't wait for you to come around, they don't wait for you to, like, they actually intentionally will go out of their way to make sure that you guys have a connection, to make sure that you guys meet again, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but if someone does that, ladies, pay attention, because let me tell you, most guys do not do that. And pay attention to the ones that actually do that. So pay attention to the ones that go about it the right way. Also, this is for men and women. And men, I'm just going to talk to you guys. I'm going to kind of like pick on you guys a little bit. If you guys are interested in a woman and she's like super special, you guys have never met anyone like her, please don't be silly and like let her go. You know what I mean? Now, I'm saying, like, if you are currently involved in someone, think smart. Be smart about it. But do not. And also another thing is, it's a big no-no. If you are actually romantically involved with anyone, and I mean married or in a relationship or close to getting married, do not overstep your boundary by being like, well, I kind of want to get to know her. That's a sucky person move. Men with authenticity, men with character, and men worth their salt do not do stuff like that. So don't do that. And same thing goes for ladies. Right back at you, right? So if I'm going to pick on the guys, I'm going to pick on you too. And I'm picking on myself as well. So I kind of look at this as being accountable. And I do this for myself, so I wouldn't be telling this to you. I wouldn't even be putting this on this is like literally a public statement, you guys. I'm saying this could come back to bite me like years down the road. So the fact that I'm actually being this brave and putting this out like as a public statement, this is a big thing, right? Okay, so I have actually done this to myself, and I'm like, well, would you intentionally go after someone that you know is involved? And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit. I talked about a little bit in my early teen years and early 20s. Dating. You guys, I still didn't have like a regular dating life. Now, when I got into college, that was one thing. I had one steady boyfriend for 3 years. But like in my early like high school years, there's a couple of guys I talked to. I was not really allowed to date until I was officially 21, and actually the year that I turned 22 was the year that I actually it was actually the year that I turned 21, because I was at the end of my freshman year going into my sophomore. So there's that. But anyway, you guys, so the other thing, like I waited, but even still, we all make mistakes and all that, blah, blah, blah. But the other thing is that even in between that, and I still kind of stuck with my little pattern of, I was like, well, that's okay that I have little friends online, and I'm not going to say like knock the online thing. Okay, you guys, I'm not going to knock it, because for some people, and there are some testimonials that even back then, where I've known some friends that it worked out for them perfectly. They've been married for years. They met online. And I kind of joke about it because there's a couple of guys that I met, or not met, but that I talked to online. And some of them, their profiles was like, I'm willing to lie about how we met if you are. And I was like, oh, absolutely fine. And I'm like, hey, that's kind of funny though that, I didn't think that guys felt like that either, but I definitely was like, oh, I've never tell anyone how we met, because that's awkward, unless you authentically meet somewhere else or something. but yeah. And so, no one really wants to admit, well, I met my forever husband, my forever guy online. And, now I'm kind of thinking maybe that's a little bit of a shallow way. It's going to be a little bit shallow, because it might not matter how you met. Like, some people meet in strip clubs and they marry their hooker. So, they marry their stripper or whatever. Some people do meet like that, It could happen, I guess. It could happen. You never know. Sometimes I always say it doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you end, okay? So maybe I need to look at it like that. So, but yeah, so stuff happens. But anyway, I'm not judging anyone. I'm not trying to be all judgy what do, but I'm just saying, I have myself at a standard, because I realized that, although no, I was never that girl to go after other girls, guys, but I was kind of the one to lower my standard too, because I was like, well, maybe I have to lower my standard. I'm going to turn down a notch, and then I turned down one notch, and find out that I had lowered my standard to a negative 5 spaces when I was at a 10 plus or something, 10, plus 5. So, and sometimes you don't even know it gradually happens. So sometimes that's the stat, if you feel like you have to dull your shine in order to, to fit into somebody's box just because you get them. So let's talk about that. What if, I'm pretty sure men and women both do it. So if you're a guy, what do you guys do? What if you meet a woman who she's not impressed by the money, she's not impressed by all your physical attributes and all that. You got all this money, but let's say that she likes guys who eat healthy, who takes care of themselves, and who are spiritually sound. You don't meet that, but you do have the way to pay for dinner. That's great, I'm one of those. Let me use myself an example. That's great. The money's great, because anyone can get a job and anyone can make money. She might not make as much as you, but, you have to realize that, not knocking those who do, but that's not all that's there. And some women, we like the spiritual aspect. Like, I have to know where you are spiritually, what level you're on spiritually, or for us to connect, and, so sometimes there's people that go into your life, and you don't actually, connect with them. And that's okay, but you don't have to be a butthead to them. You know what I mean? To be like, ew, you're so gross. Like, I would never date you. And this is exactly why. There's a good way to tell people. There's a softer response. You know, a soft answer. The Bible talks about soft answers turning away wrath. And so sometimes that works unless you are dealing with a crazy person. They're like, no, I don't care. You're going to like me one way, and I'm going to lock you in the tower till you like me. Plus, you know, they pull a Beast and Belle. Thanks, Disney, for that. I'm just saying, you guys, think about that scenario. If that was like a real scenario, like, come on, like he literally kidnapped her. Like, I just thought about that when I was little. I don't know if I'm the only one who's ever really looked at that, the cartoon version. And the remake was okay, but the cartoon version, I'm like, you know, yeah, he kind of kidnapped her. He kind of kidnapped her. Yeah. You know, he like traded, you know, her father for her. And I was like, think about that if real people was like, you know, they were like, oh no, you're going to love him. I'm pretty sure this happened somewhere. Unless they wouldn't put that in there. Some of these stories that are their movies now, it happened one time somewhere at one point in time. So that's why it's a movie, you guys. But anyway, but yeah, so that's kind of like, you know, what I laugh at that. And what's so funny is, speaking of Disney, one of my favorite Disney movies growing up was The Little Mermaid. And what's really funny is that out of all of them, there are Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White. Out of all of the ones I could pick, I could relate more to Ariel. I could relate more to being a mermaid. And I was like, why? But you know what, you guys, have you guys all noticed? I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed this, but have you noticed how all of the princesses, including the princess, even though they're somebodies or guys, none of them had parents. I mean, had two parents. And I was like, wow. You know, and I know growing up, you know, I was like, yeah, I was like, maybe I could be a modern day. I don't know if they would ever create one about me, but it was like, I could be a kind of a modern day Disney princess. It was like, I talk to animals. Okay. I do. I was like, you know, my father passed away when I was at an early age, and you know, even though I wasn't like mistreated by my siblings, but kind of like that black sheep just everywhere I go, just kind of like that weird wallflower. Like, you see me, but then they don't remember anything about me because I wasn't that memorable, kind of thing. So anyway, but you know, sometimes it's like that. And so, but anyway, my whole point of this is like, you know, I'm going to ask you Q&A, you guys. You guys can, wherever you guys watch this, I'm going to do some more videos. But yeah, so like my thing is like, have you ever wanted to, you know, when you meet that person, like, you know, instead of doing it the traditional way, some people like the traditional way, they like to be a serial dater. And I've even heard the term of serial monogamous. And I think that those two people are polar opposites. They are on the extreme side of the extreme. You know, there's one spectrum of the extreme dating side. They're on the extreme. One's for far right, one's for left of the extreme. Me, I'm probably like the, we've never heard of that dating style before. So you keep you and your little ideas over there, even though we might listen in to find out if we can use them. No. But yeah, so that's kind of like really what it is. And so some people have the serial monogamous, and this is my interpretation of it. The serial monogamous are people who, okay, so I'm dating this person. Oh my gosh, we've been together for 3 weeks. Ugh, he's annoying or she's annoying. I can't stand them. Okay, so we're breaking up. Bye. Then, you know, a month later, oh, here's another guy. They can't be, you know, they have to be in a relationship. They have to be. And me, I always thought something was wrong with me because I never felt like I needed to be in a relationship. I kind of used to, in the relationship, I was kind of like that. Oh my gosh, I just want to be around you type of girl. And I literally had to dial it down, you guys. I had to dial it down. If you guys realized my dating style and how I am in a relationship, because like you were clingy, guess what, you can say yes, I was kind of clingy. That was me, the clingy. No, I'm crying. I miss you already. Oh my gosh, he just walked out. He's been gone for a minute. That was me. And I had to dial it back, you guys, because, sometimes, you're like, you get so attached to people, and that's not healthy, right? So now I'm just like, well, I'm like, okay, okay. So I know how to just, like, not, like, play it, but, like, play it safe, but, like, how does the Bible say it? If you're, sometimes that actually brings up insecurity and mistrust. So the person, that you're with, this is for the ladies, guys. And you guys can listen in. This is for the ladies right now. But sometimes when we're like that, or when women are like that, sometimes the men might be like, oh, she doesn't trust me. That's the only reason why she wants me around. She doesn't trust you with my friends. She doesn't trust me away from her. But sometimes, if you're honest with them, just, kind of dial it back. If you can control that, don't do that. Because sometimes, instead of bringing them closer, that'll push them away. Excuse me. And that'll also make them think like she's clingy. Like, he wants that, he wants that label. I don't like labels. I don't like being put labels on. I actually have that label. So, you guys, I'm seriously, like, you're in the season. I'm not trying to get all super spiritual with you guys, but I have been in a season of rebuking labels. Like, you're not going to put a label on me. I am unlabelless. I am unable to fit into any box that this world can ever think of. They may be like, oh, she's this way. I'm like, sorry, that box doesn't work for me. Okay, well, you're this way. Nope, that box doesn't work for me either. Well, you're this way then. Nope, that box doesn't work for me. There's no box that I can check that fits into MaryCathryn, that describes MaryCathryn. There's no box ever that's ever been made for me. Now, but, like, the other thing is like, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who thinks like that. But I know another thing for the guys, sometimes if you have a woman like that, or if you're dating someone like that, in a relationship with someone, keeping your distance is not exactly the good way to do it, or being harsh with them and harshly pushing them away is not a good look. Because sometimes you may push them away and they won't come back. Some of them will maybe stick around for a while, but sometimes some women, like, emotionally shut down on you. And that's where you don't see it. They may smile at you, and you guys, still may connect. I don't know if you guys have crossed that line physically or whatever. They may connect with you that, but sometimes some women put up emotional barriers. And sometimes when that emotional, I don't know about you, but most women have that emotional connection first. And once that emotional connection is broken or dropped or disrupted, or somehow mistrust comes in there, it's a done deal. They may not tell you right away, but it's a done deal. So that's something to look out for, I guess. But I'm not even certified, you guys. I'm just giving you guys little secrets, but I'm pretty sure some of you guys know that. And that is actually literally from personal experience. So you can quote me on that. But yeah, you can definitely try that. But yeah, so just kind of look out for that. Sometimes some women may be very open and emotional. They may argue with you and be like, okay, so those are the kind of women, that's fine. But the yelling is kind of ridiculous. But I like to call it passionate discussion. How about that? Instead of arguing and cussing with each other, it's good to have a passionate, open discussion, not talking one over the other, where he talks, he says what he feels, and then, you process it. And then you talk and you say what you feel in response to what he says. And then you can talk about how you feel. But sometimes I have a class. I'm still right now, I'm working on finishing my undergrad, but in one of my classes, it was talking about instead of, like, when you're having a dialogue, like I said, I like to call it a passionate discussion. I guess I call it passionate because it's between it's a relationship. So when you're having a passionate discussion, instead of being like, well, you did this to me, you did that, you can be like, well, I felt like this happened, instead of what you did, pointing the finger at them. And I was like, I wish I'd known that earlier, because it would have been a whole different situation, and not just with romantic relationships, but with friendships as well, with family ships and family members, whatever, family ships. Don't think that's there. You can look at the dictionary and see what that means. I don't even know what a family ship is, but family relationships, that's what I mean. If I'd known how to, I guess, that you can intentionally set up a conversation and know exactly what kind of, because some people feel threatened when you're like, you did this, you did that. And some people will say, you talked to this person, you talked to Susie, and you said that you weren't talking to Susie, instead of saying, did you talk to Susie? And giving them a chance to tell you the truth. And if they lie, then you're like, oh, no, I'm kidding. No. But, even so, everybody just agrees. But yeah, it's better to ask a question, put the question mark at the end instead of a ... or an explanation point. So, yeah. Yeah, so, but anyway, guys, this is really supposed to only be 15 minutes. Like, but anyway, I figured this would be a little bit longer. But just to wrap up, my whole point is this: it's like you don't have to do it my way, but if you are seeking a Christian relationship, or let's say you doesn't even have to be a Christian relationship, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who just a lot of people are saying that they would much rather choose mental health over being with someone, and that really saddened me. That saddened me so much. They're not even technically, they're a little bit few years younger, but I actually believe that so much because I'm like, why can't you have both? But one thing I will agree with, and one thing I will tell you guys, that when you are men, when you're seeking a relationship, and women, when you are being receptive to, or let me say open or receptive to being in a relationship, one thing about it is that talk to someone or connect with a man, ladies, who makes you feel at your best. Same thing, men. If you connect with a woman who makes you feel like she puts you down or she's judgmental, you feel like, oh, you gotta be unauthentic, you have to be anything but yourself in order to impress her, please don't even approach her. Because most of the time, and let me tell you, women are not out of your league. If you guys don't believe me, watch that Hitch movie with Will Smith. I don't remember the other guy's name, but he has some really, really good points in there. I've never seen it. It's literally called HITCH, Hitch. Look it up, and Will Smith is the star, but it has some really good points in there, and you want to know what? There's literally, no body that's out of your league, and understand what I mean. I think the whole concept is that he was helping all these people, these guys, who felt like they were, and I feel like that's a really good thing if we really had somebody out there really doing that. And the reason why I say that is because so many people want different things. Like my relationship style coaching is basically I like to help people from a biblical standpoint, but I don't actually let them know that it's a biblical standpoint. But I also that's where I get most of my ideas from. I probably haven't seen that movie in a while, but I did see it once or twice, and it's a good movie. But I also feel like, I do agree with one of the lines in the movie where he's like, you can get, no one is out of your league. So let's say somebody's like, oh, I don't know, some average Joe guys, it's just like the movie, and he's in love with some rock star, I think she was an actress or something or whatever. Sometimes, I would say that no one's out of your league, but as far as a spiritual connection, that's the only thing that some believers, people of different faiths, I think that's the only thing that kind of separates us. Yeah, we may agree on everything else, but I think sometimes when it comes to issues people are politics, I don't know, social issues, I don't know, sometimes racial, there's different things. Sometimes, for me, all that other stuff I don't really care about, it doesn't really matter to me. But then there is, let's be honest, the spiritual aspect does matter most to me. I'm not everyone, so my situation is different. But yes, and sometimes I don't feel like that is something that you should talk about right away, but because I have realized that I have already tried not talking about it right away, and it's not gotten me any further than where I am now. So almost maybe I should try taking a step of faith and not being afraid of it, and just coming out and being like, hey, so how do you feel about this? Because this means everything to me. That guy on the cross, he's my world. So, but yeah, well, he's not on the cross, but he know who gay was laughing in the crowd. He's my world. So, are you cool with them? Kind of thing, you know. Just gonna put it out there, but yeah. But yep. So, and there's a way that you can do it. There's a way that you can ease into it. And so, but yeah, you guys, and by the way, the song that I'm listening to, I was looking for a song to play. I was gonna do like the traditional "How will I know? How will I know?" Yeah, of Whitney, and this Sam Hunt. He's doing it, but it's like a different version. I was like, seems like a reception song, a wedding song. Just kidding. It could be. You never know. All right, you guys. I will talk to you guys later because this video is almost 40 minutes. So, all right, you guys. I hope you guys have a good day. And, you know, be blessed. Bye. I don't know about tomorrow's video, but I will post another one this weekend. All right, bye, you guys.